All right, welcome back, guys. I actually had to run and get a drink, so I'm a little bit late getting into the draft here. I didn't even get a chance to actually drink it, but we're back as we had a pretty early GG call from EverNova in Game 1. So I tweeted out that they'll look to bounce back in Game 2 here.
Reserve time.
But ixmike88 now 1 game away from a berth in the finals. 3 games, or 3 wins, I guess, away from potentially making it into the main qualifier and denying us of the chance to see EverNova versus EverNovas. But welcome, guys. If you're new here, I am Niz, and I'm going to be casting the rest of the series and also the finals. Whichever one of these teams takes this best of 3, I believe we'll be going up against Pain in the grand finals. So we'll look forward to that one. But I'm also streaming live on twitch.tv if you are watching in Dota TV. So that's at twitch.tv/NizCast. So you can definitely drop by there and let me know how I'm doing. Or just say hi or just join in on the chat that's been going on. As there's a good amount of people in here. Everyone's really enjoying the games as well. So I'm glad that you're enjoying the games, but also enjoying the cast as well. So I look forward to keep that going, even though I can already feel my voice dying on me. But we've got plenty more Dota games to cast. We'll just have to deal with that, I guess, later on.
10 seconds remaining.
But we've got, well, like I said, Game 2 here. We've got, on our dire side, is going to be EverNova this time. Unfortunately, they didn't tag up, so we don't have tags for either side here. But the ixmike88, or ixmike88, as they're known in the brackets, are going to be on our Radiant side. So they've got the advantage right now, 1 game to nothing. We'll go through the bans here as Oracle and Bounty Hunter getting banned out by EverNova, Doom and Darkseer banned by the ixmike88. Enchantress and Winter Wyvern are the picks for EverNova, and I really like that they've snatched up their Winter Wyvern again. They play this hero really, really well. I'm really excited to see Derp play it. I know I hype it up every time, but he also delivers every time as well. As Derp, I mean, I think a lot of people are just starting. If you don't really follow the Americas scene closely, I think a lot of people don't know Derp. And if you don't respect this guy, he's honestly, I think he's one of the best, if not the best, non-pro supports in the Americas scene. And I know that's kind of a bold statement, but I think it's pretty true. And I think there's a lot of people that would agree with me on that as well. As for the picks of the ixmike88, we've got the Witch Doctor and the Slardar for them, and now they're going to add on a Night Stalker. But before that, we had a couple bans come through, as it was an Alchemist and the Slark, so they couldn't pick the Slark. They, as it got banned out there, the Beastmaster and the Lifestealer were the bans for the ixmike88.
5 seconds remaining.
And I believe we're now all caught up. So what do we have so far? Slardar in the offlane. We saw Boris play that last game, and I pointed it out, and I was a little bit unsure about it because he was doing a lot of roaming around early on, and I thought, you know, he's falling behind, and his roaming isn't really panning out. He's doing a lot of kind of back and forth. It came across of being unsure of what to do. I don't really think they're unsure. These guys are all really, really high skill players. I don't think he was unsure about what to do, but it was this constant of, this is the right place to be, now that's the right place to be, and you just have to kind of sometimes just change your mind and go somewhere else. So I was a little bit skeptical of Boris rotating around so much, but then they found a little bit of space for him. Part of that was space that they created, but then he clawed himself back in the game. Not that he was ever really far behind, but just past level 6 or 7 like that, all of a sudden he was at 2, 1, and 7. And he was doing perfectly fine. And I think he was 4th highest on the net worth as well. So obviously it worked out for him. A little skeptical of it at the time, but it worked out really, really well. So they'll look to have that same kind of performance on their Slardar this time. Faceless Void's going to be the pick for EverNova.
5 seconds remaining.
Have we seen them play Faceless Void? I know there was a Faceless Void in the last time they were in the semis. I can't remember if it was them or Lucchini that played it. I think it was EverNova. I'm not sure, though. But Morphling? What? This hero's still a hero?
10 seconds remaining.
All right. I've heard some talk of potentially a Morphling offlane kind of rising in popularity. We're not going to see that this game, but interesting, a Morphling. I'm trying to think what got buffed to Morphling in the patch. sure you guys will let me know in the chat. Either way, or someone will know, and then you all know, and I'll be the only one left out. But Morphling's going to be the pick for them, and I'm not sure where they're going to put that. If it's going to be safe lane or mid, that might even be still yet to be decided based on how the rest of this draft progresses. That was also a very late pick from them as well. They only had 3 seconds left on reserve time, so maybe they were still on the fence about whether or not they should be picking that. And oh, a brand new hero. I don't think this must be new to Dota. I know that's a meme, but and I'm not the biggest memer, but we're gonna go with it. Elder Titan. Elder Titan. EverNova. Down 1 game in a best of 3.
10 seconds remaining.
In the semifinals for a chance
5 seconds remaining.
of going and representing the Americas
Dire
after
team
going
back.
through the main qualifiers. But that's, I mean, this is the hard part, right? I'm joking, of course. And they decide to pull out the Elder Titan. All right, let's see it. Let's see it. I hope it works because
10
everyone kind of
seconds
considers
remaining.
this to be a dead hero, and everyone kind of jokes that it's not a real hero or that it's a new
5
hero.
seconds
And if this
remaining.
works, I mean, we might see maybe a potential resurgence of the Elder Titan.
Reserve time.
Maybe. I mean, we're already seeing a Morphling. We saw a support Tidehunter last game. They didn't win, but support Tidehunter last game. The meta in 6.87, we're seeing a lot of 686 heroes still kind of leaking through, and I think it's because we had WePlay come... I mean, WePlay started almost immediately right after the patch. And then we had the Open Qualifier start very shortly after that as well, and I feel like a lot of these teams just didn't have enough time to
Dire
experiment,
team
and
pick.
the meta didn't have enough time to evolve. So we're seeing still a lot of that 686, and maybe these kind of picks, these outside the popular opinion or outside the meta picks, are a glimpse into what we're going to see more of in
10
687.
seconds remaining.
The final 2 bans are in. It's going to be a Queen of Pain banned out by EverNova
5
and
seconds
Zeus
remaining.
banned out by our Ritsu stack. So what's going to be the final pick here?
Reserve time.
What are their lanes? Faceless Void offlane, Enchantress mid? Winter Wyvern, Elder Titan as the 2 supports?
10 seconds remaining.
And then they're picking a safe laner here?
Wind Ranger
I mean, they
at your
banned out the
service.
Zeus. Is it safe
Radiant
lane?
team pick.
Maybe it's safe lane Enchantress. Yeah, that's what it is. Offlane Faceless Void, safe lane Enchantress. Not sure how I overlooked this. Wind Ranger mid, and then support duo of Winter Wyvern, Elder Titan. And then the Ritsu stack, Slaughter offlane, supports of Witch Doctor,
10
Night Stalker,
seconds remaining.
and then Morphling mid?
5 seconds remaining.
Guess. I guess. We're going to find out in 3 seconds when they pick a hero. It's going to be a Medusa. So I think that means we're going to have the Morphling in the mid lane, and we see Justin pick it up there, so probably. Although we... was it 686? It might have been 685, where we used to see Medusa kind of played in that mid lane at times. But I don't think we're going to see that. I think it's going to be a mid Morphling. All right, I finally get a sip of my drink there. I'm still thinking back to the first blood that we had last game, where the Winter Wyvern flies up onto the pillar,
10 seconds
and
remaining.
then it's flanked by heroes on the other side. Of course, Arctic Burn wears off,
5
and he's
seconds
stuck up there.
remaining.
And then Observer Wards and Sentry Wards are constantly getting dropped and destroyed, trying to get vision to kill the Winter Wyvern as he's sitting up there. I really think that's probably got to be the goofiest or one of the goofiest first bloods I've ever seen. I've casted a decent amount of Dota. I've played a lot of Dota as well. I know there's a lot of people new here that don't know. I actually used to play competitive Dota. That was a while back. It was over, I think, 2 years ago now. So it's been a while since I've been relevant. Not that I was really relevant at the time either, but yeah, I've played a lot of Dota, and that was an interesting first blood. Definitely an interesting first blood. And to do it on this kind of stage. I'm sure a lot of people watching the stream and also in Dota TV really enjoyed that. I don't think we're going to see something comparable this game, but you never know. These qualifiers never really disappoint. There's always something fun and interesting that comes out. We've seen some really big plays actually come out over the days. I wish I was able to kind of highlight all that stuff and make some kind of compilation. And you see the comment there in all chat there. As before, if you have a problem, please pause and alert me. Your pause time will not be taken for a legitimate issue. And that's Bonsai. He stepped in to make sure, because we've had some issues with people trying to hop into the lobby, and there's people basically spamming trying to get in and abuse the bot. It's a whole mess. But Bonsai stepped in from FACEIT and make sure that we don't have anything going wrong in these drafts, and he's stepping up to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So shout out to Bonsai and all the guys at FACEIT, making it easy for all our casters to jump into these lobbies and cast these games for you. But let's introduce our teams and our players. As we got on our Radiant side, it's going to be Ritsu Stack. They're currently 1 game up in this best of 3. We've got Buryu on the Witch Doctor. Boris is going to be playing the Slardar once again. Koshu, or Kushu? I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Either way, that's Justin. He's going to be playing the Morphling. Elmo is going to be on the Night Stalker. And 124312412412421 is Ritsu, which is a significantly shorter name. Now, on our Dire side, we've got EverNova. We've actually managed to cast a lot of their games through this qualifiers. Not that we were following them, it just kept running into them, I guess, with the teams that we were following. And on top of that, we cast them right before the open qualifiers in the Dota 2 Canada Cup. But they're currently 1 game down here, and they're fighting for their life in this best of 3. We've got Derp playing the Winter Wyvern. He is really good at this hero. Look for big plays. Let Me Go is going to be on the Faceless Void. Volvo, please gift Wind Ranger. We've got Metro. He's going to be playing the Elder Titan. A really interesting pick there. And Ho-Okay or Hook, he's going to be playing the Enchantress. So let's take a look at our Elder Titan here. What is he even starting with? As he's going to pick up Tangos, Salve, Fairy Fire, Windlace, and Observer Wards, and Sentries. But, I don't know what's going to happen this game with the Elder Titan. I'm eager to see. I always want to see something new work, because that means the game's still adapting. I think the game is always adapting. It's always changing, even from one game to another. Even when we think the meta is stale and we think every game's the same, it's still adapting. As Metro taking some damage here as Elmo and Buryu. We deal some damage to him, and there comes Ho-Okay, but he's gonna have to pop the Fairy Fire. He does, but he's gonna go down for first blood now. Elmo is gonna get netted up by the troll, or Dark Troll Summoner. That was controlled by the Enchantress there, so we will have first blood going the way of the Ritsu Stack. It ends up in being a trade, but of course advantage going the way of the team with the first blood. And we'll take a look at our lane tiers. It's going to be an off-lane Morphling, but it's really an aggressive lane, as we've got a Witch Doctor up here with him, and we did have a Night Stalker with him, but after he died, he ended up going down to the bottom lane. Either way, they're going up against a safe lane Enchantress with an Elder Titan, and this is primarily their off-lane player, because they've kind of gone aggressive as well, as they've sent the Faceless Void down towards the bottom lane with the Winter Wyvern, and they're going up against what Ritsu's stack primarily plays as their offlaner Boris in the Slardar. And we saw the Night Stalker go down, and he rotated down here on his respawn. So that's going to be our lanes as we look at the last one. The Medusa in the mid lane going up against the Wind Ranger. So I know I made some predictions about what our lanes were going to be, but not the case. See some people asking in chat about what the score is, and Neuro, actually, you're wrong there. It's actually the Radiant side that's up 1 game to nothing, as it's the Ritsu Stack that's currently up 1-0. We've got EverNova on the Dire side this game. But just to clarify that, the teams have swapped sides. So basically what happens with FACEIT and how this is organized is the higher seed gets automatically put on the Radiant side. And then the team that is then put on the Dire side gets first pick. Or choice of pick, I think. Then game 2, we swap it around. In game 3, I believe it's completely random, both of them. Or we might swap sides and then pick as random. I'm not sure. But game 3 is random. Metro taking some damage here as the waveform from Justin passes over him.
Thanks.
This isn't something that all of a sudden when you're in one of these games you say, you know what, let's just pick an Elder Titan. This is something that I think they've prepared for. This isn't, they may not have even shown this. I don't know if they even showed it in 686 that they can play the Elder Titan to this level and that they've been experimenting with it. Maybe some of these players know from scrimming with the players or against EverNova that this is something in their wheelhouse, or maybe this is something completely fresh and new. And EverNova's experimented with it a little bit here or there, but for the most part it's been kind of kept under wraps. But I'm looking forward to see if Elder Titan's going to be able to make some plays this game. And the Dota 2 audio commentator drops out badly. Uh-oh. Yeah, it looks fine to me, but I'll try to fix that in between games if there is an issue. So far, our lanes are largely dominated by the Ritsu stack. We got our top 3 leaders in last hits, all on their side. The leader for our EverNova is actually going to be the safe lane Enchantress. As we've got some interesting lanes here as Derp's taking some damage. Boris going to come in with the crush. He's going to land on both of them. As they're going to get the kill on the Winter Wyvern and Let Me Go. Not really able to do much retaliation damage because he's just a Faceless Void 4 minutes into the game.
Illusion.
And Hoke continues to try and farm up in the top lane, but yeah, the lanes so far not really going too well for EverNova as our leader 25-4 is the Morphling. And then the Dusa also taking advantage in the mid lane. 22-8. Windranger not that far behind though at 20-5. Meanwhile, Let Me Go is going to leap away. As they're not really going to be able to do too much to the Faceless Void. A bunch of pings up in the top lane as Buryu is running for his life. He's got the restoration on as he's healing up. And Metro, come on, you can do it. He's trying. He's going to throw at the... I don't even remember what the name of that thing is called. Astral Spirit. And Buryu will manage to get to the neutral camp. So the Elder Titan not going to be successful there. Not going to get the kill. As Derp will actually come back up to the top lane. So we're seeing an adjustment made by EverNova. Obviously the lane's not working for them. We know that it's been reflected in the last hits. Even though they're not super far behind, they are falling behind and they don't like the position that they're in. So they're starting to rotate things around, starting to change things up. They're going to leave the Faceless Void down here as the offlaner by himself, and they're going to go back to more traditional lanes. As I think what they kind of did with their lanes was almost dodging the aggression that was going to be coming out from Maritsu stack. And maybe it worked. I'm not really sure. But we'll see as it pans out and as we kind of
Double damage.
calm down in the laning phase once again now that they've made this adjustment. So Windranger going to TP back to the mid lane. And she's a little bit behind in XP right now. We've got Medusa almost hitting level 7. In fact, she will hit level 7 right now. And Windranger just barely hitting it, having hit level 6. So it's going to be a wraparound play on to Let Me Go in the bottom. Does he know? Now he knows. His Elmo coming in from behind as he uses the Void and the Silence. Boris is even there with the Crush.
Dire's middle tower.
And the Elder Titan TP's in, but just a little bit too late. A Stomp definitely would have kept him alive, but he had to be there a lot earlier for that to have all gone off. Ritsu's gonna head back. There's more TPs coming in. This time Elmo's on the backside again. But he's gonna have to run all the way back. And around the long way. As we're nearing the end of this first night, as we're approaching that 8-minute mark. He wants to try to get another gank in before it gets there. As they're gonna toss the cask. Time Walk's gonna Let Me Go back to the his tower, so he's going to get the armor buff, but it's not going to keep him alive. As Metro also got stunned up there, and now he's going to go on the offensive. Now that Windranger's rotated down here, his Stomp's going to come out from him, but Boris has a little bit of a faster Stomp with the Slithering Crush, going to stun him up first. So they're going to get a double kill there on their Slardar. As once again, Boris off to a great start. 2-0 and 2 to start things off. He's about to hit level 7. In fact, he just did. And Ritsu Stack already off, already starting this game off exactly the way that they wanted. They do just lose Buryu up there in the top lane. But being ahead one game right now, this is a good position to be in the game 2. And looking to advance into that grand finals. Now Ritsu just delivered his Morbid Mass. It's going to allow him to hop into the jungle and farm even more. And really, with the position that EverNova is in right now, they don't really have the ability to march into the Radiant jungle and really put pressure and stop Medusa from farming these stacks. You know, there's always the possibility of them stacking the Ancients as well. As we're going to see Elmo rotate up here as well. He might just even stay to do that, but he might see the Invis rune and think better. He can do better things with that.
Is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
As we're going to have a pause here come out from Metro. Sorry, just taking the brief little break there to take a sip from my drink to just try and let my voice hold on. Been a lot of games cast over the last couple days, and we've got a lot more to go. So, gotta try to manage it as best as I can. But it's getting a little raspy right now. So what do we have to look for here? Obviously, we're approaching level 6 on some big heroes in this game. The Witch Doctor mainly is going to be one of them. I'm really interested to see what we're going to see once the Faceless Void hits level 6. We have Chronosphere online, plus we have Elder Titan with his crack, I don't even know what it's called, Earth Splitter, and even Winter's Curse. I mean, there's so much team fight potential on the side of EverNova once again. We talked a little bit about it last game and how they had really strong team fight. But this game, they've got even more. We're going to see if that's going to be enough. Because they kind of got walked over. I mean, they stayed even for a bit, and then all of a sudden the game just got blown wide open by the Ritsu Stack, and they just started taking control of the game. And by 19 minutes, EverNova says, that's it, we're done. We're going to move on to game 2. Derp derp. Watching over mid lane once again, picking up these infused raindrops. He's one of the few players that we've seen in the open qualifiers picking up those infused raindrops. The other ones that we saw got picked up were in the grand finals of the open qualifier number 1, where some players on the side of Dragneel picked them up. But for the most part, they're items that haven't been picked up at all, which is a little surprising to me, as Metro's going to complete his Tranquil Boots. No, he's rotating with Derp Derp. They don't have smoke, though, and yeah, they're going to buy it right now and send it on the courier once it gets its way back there. So Elmo's got his urn, 100 gold right now, 10.5 minutes in. We're still a ways out before we're going to have our next night. There's now scan getting used. And Ritsu, they're reading the map really well. They know that a gank's going to potentially be coming out. They immediately throw a scan out on the entrance into their jungle. The gank wasn't coming yet, but fully aware that it's very probable that it's going to be coming. We saw that EverNova was kind of making that rotation, maybe even starting to set up that gank, but Derp Derp's still waiting on that smoke from the courier because it had to fly out and deliver something to the top lane. Now Ritsu Stack, they're going to smoke up as 3. Elmo, Boris, and Buryu, with Elmo leading the way. As they move across the river, Derp Derp's close by. Well, they can see. Will Boris get popped here? Derp Derp is so close to popping the smoke. He won't. But okay, will. As Elmo's going to get the Void off onto Derp Derp, and it looks like the call is just to back away. And say, no deal. This isn't... We don't like this. Let's get out of here. And Buryu, we saw him maybe... He was starting to go the river with Elmo, and then he's like, I don't want to go that way. Let me goes up there. And Elmo, he was then kind of on an island by himself. And he had to take that path, and we saw exactly what just happened. So he runs into that Faceless Void. They even use the Chrono to make sure that they're going to secure that kill. It's a kill going the way of EverNova. Now Derp getting an aggressive Observer Ward here. It's going to allow them to position themselves much more aggressively in the top lane. And it's basically just an advanced version of this one, where this one's looking over the tier 1 tower. Once the tier 1 tower goes down, you can advance it to the next pillar. And it kind of does the same thing near the tier 2. Of course, there's always still the rotation through here that you always have to be wary of. That Observer Ward won't really spot until you're just crossing over there, and then you almost don't have enough time to react. Or at least at this point in the game, when people don't have Blink Daggers. Or even really many movement-based items. And as I say that, Boris is going to pick up his Blink. We'll quickly switch on over to net worth. Our leader is Dusa at 5.9k. That's going to be the Enchantress at 5k. Who's already got her Dragon Lance completed. We imagine we're going to get the Hurricane Pike eventually this game. As that's been a very popular pickup, and almost it seems like it was an item that was just meant for Enchantress. Of course, we have seen it picked up by Templar Assassin, as I think that might actually have been the only other hero that we've seen pick it up so far. But we've seen Enchantresses dominate the game with that item, so not surprising if we see it eventually build into that. Quickly going to bring up our items here, see if anything has popped up that we haven't seen. We've got Perseverance up on the Morphling. Always checking in on the Night Stalkers. We're going to have an engage here as the Elder Titan starting to take some damage. A Death Ward from Buryu. Doing a lot there to the Elder Titan. Going to get a kill. He's going to throw out the cask as Ho-Okay. Going to try to chase after him, but can't interrupt a TP on an Enchantress. So Buryu will just go back to his fountain. Get his mana back up after expelling most of it on the Death Ward. And once again, both teams just kind of go back to farming. There is some pressure being applied to the mid-tier 1. It's already pretty low on HP as well, 165 HP, and with a catapult here, they're going to glyph it up, and EverNova's forced to defend here.
Haste.
Meanwhile, in the Radiant jungle, the mid tower was denied there by the Wind Ranger. Derp is going to get blinked on by Boris. He'd already been stunned up by the cask, but another kill for the Ritsu stack. Ritsu pushing up aggressively in the top lane, but doesn't really have anything to really be worried about. He saw those heroes down in, or he saw Derp at least, down in his jungle. You know that he's dead. He saw some heroes down in the bottom lane going up against the Morphling. He saw the 2 heroes mid denying the tower. So it's just an Elder Titan left. They can push up aggressively there, and we saw last game the towers went down to Ritsu kind of split pushing, and to some extent Boris split pushing.
Denied.
And we're seeing pretty much exactly that again. We've already lost that tier 1 tower. It was denied this time. Last time it wasn't. But the top tower's also kind of on its last limbs, and even the bottom tower is already down to half. It's a lot of... It may not seem like a lot, but early tower kills are actually quite significant amount of gold. As Scan's going to get used by the Ritsu stack and immediately spot that Enchantress that made her way down towards the bottom tier 1. Now she'll just back. As Boris and Buryu smoked up, they're just going to place an Observer Ward with that. I'm not really trying to force anything here, and there's no one at all in the bottom lane. So you're not going to be able to do anything, but they have effectively dodged a bigger 4-man smoke gank from EverNova, but Ritsu... Wow, they get vision of him, but that was actually really unfortunate of the Wind Ranger. She didn't have vision there. She was channeling Power Shot. Had she not done that, she could have just walked in. And got a Shackle Shot off, and it would have immediately latched to the tree as well. And it probably would have been a free kill on the Medusa for them. But just didn't work out that way because of the Fog of War. So the bottom tier 1 tower goes down. Justin getting the last hit there. We still just have the Tranquils, Windlace, and now Magic Wand. for the Elder Titan. He's at 500 gold. Is Let Me Go starting to run away because the darkness has been popped as Elmo's chasing after him. Boris going to jump in, get a Slither Crush off, and this Faceless Void. Oh, he's going to time block back. So that's going to give him a little bit of his HP back. Is the Chrono? There's that Earth Splitter as well. It's going to land on 3, but it's just the 2 of them, so there's not really going to be much follow-up there. As now the second Slither Crush will catch the Faceless Void, and EverNova will lose that hero. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we missed the kill onto Buryu, but EverNova scored a kill. But once again, a trade that I don't think they're going to be happy with. They lost their Faceless Void while they were going for that kill on the Witch Doctor. And again, getting a kill on a support, but losing one of your cores.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Boris and Elmo right in behind the Enchantress. Another Blink, Slither Crush onto the Enchantress, but with that Untouchable, it's really hard to right-click kill her. She's also just delivered her Hurricane Pike as well, so you always have to be wary of the amount of damage that she can put out. What is Ritsu up to? Helm of the Dom, Yasha, and 3.2k. Is this going to be a Manta game? Is this going to be a Lincoln's game? We already have a Lincoln's picked up by Justin. In fact, well, he just picked it up. It's going to be a Hand of Midas for the Night Stalker.
Invisibility.
I saw him hovering around about 1,400 gold there. And I was like, he's not going to buy his point booster yet. And that explained it. He was going for the Midas instead. So I feel like Game 1 and then also now Game 2 of this series has been completely different than how we've seen EverNova play in all their other games.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They were able to kind of not just dictate the pace of the game, but they were able to move around and make plays. We saw some really good rotations in one of the previous games from EverNova. In the early game when they were running CM Phoenix. So Crystal Maiden and a Phoenix, and they were able to get a ton of kills and put them in a really good spot coming out of the laning phase. I think they eventually lost that game, but I believe that was in the best of 3 against Lucchini.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But they were at least able to move around and dictate the pace of the game, make plays, and make things happen on the map. In these 2 games that I've seen them playing against the Ritsu stack, we don't see them. We don't even really see them going for much. They've gone for a few smoke ganks, but outside of that, they're not doing much by putting pressure on lanes and forcing Ritsu stack to devote heroes to other places on the map. It almost feels like they're a little hesitant to just play their game and play the way that they've been playing. And I don't think it's nerves. I don't even think that they necessarily think that, oh, these other guys they're the favorites, they're a lot better than us or anything like that. I don't think that's the case. It's just they're not playing their game, and that's why I think they're really struggling here. They're going to go for another smoke gank. They're going to run into Elmo. This is a good play by Elmo to move up there and kind of control that space, it's nighttime, try and get a rune, try and set up a gank. Unfortunately, he runs into a smoke gank, but him running into a smoke gank as a position 4 on his team isn't really the worst thing in the world. It's not a death that's going to go on, the Morphling or the Medusa or even the Slardar. And once again, was that smoke gank going to actually turn into another kill? We don't know. But either way, I think it's important that they're out on the map controlling that space, because if they don't, and they start giving EverNova a little bit of space, then maybe they kind of get their groove back and they start getting involved and start kind of dictating the pace of the game and start making their plays. Because right now they're not. This isn't the EverNova that we've seen in all the other games to get here. Got a Blink Dagger Maelstrom on the Wind Rangers. A bunch of other items are getting picked up. We got a Hand of Midas now picked up by the Faceless Void. What else? I think we had a Scotty picked up by the Medusa. Another very popular item pick for her. It's pretty standard. You go Phase, Aquila, Helm of the Dom, Yasha. Those are your first 4. From there, you build into one of 3 items. The Lincolns, the Scotty, or the Manta. And I'm choosing to go with the Scotty this time around. And I mean, tank up. Why not, right? At this point in the game, what does EverNova have to really kill you? It's all the Enchantress. All the Enchantress. If the Enchantress isn't right-clicking you, you don't really have much to bring you down. Yeah, oh, we're going to have a force tap in here from OK, as the Aegis is already going to get picked up by Justin, and a nice Medusa ult there as the Enchantress going to go down, and now, like I said, who's going to do damage? EverNova's just lost their Enchantress. They need to get out of here. They're going to chase after and get the kill on the Derp Derp. Metro going to try to run away, and it looks like he will be successful. Faceless Void leaps away the other way, and we're going to have a blink over all the heroes from the Wind Ranger, but now her Wind Run has worn off. She's going to get slowed down by the Void, and Boris is once again going to be there with a Blink Crush. So EverNova loses 3 heroes trying to come in and contest Roche, which they were already a little bit late to the party on. And we didn't even see the big ults go out. We didn't see the Chrono go out. We didn't see the Earth Splitter go out. I don't really recall when the Winter's Curse went out. I think it went out right at the start of the fight. But either way, there wasn't the synergy there, and they're just kind of getting run over. Now they've gone for a Midas on the Elder Titan as well, so that's 2 Midases. It's just the Faceless Void and the Elder Titan. But they've gone for 2, and that's even further weakening their position in the game right now. It's going to allow them to kind of get themselves back in the game if the game gets late, because Midas is, it's going to be an efficient investment, but you got to get there. And you got to get there without losing all your towers, all your racks, and map control. And I don't know. The fights have not been going their way, and going to take some big misplays, I think, from Ritsu Stack, as they're going to get a shackle here onto Morphling, but already has the morph off. Chrono's going to get locking him down, but they're devoting so much to this that they're still not going to get him because he pops the Ghost Scepter. As Metro Boomin's going to get stunned up by Boris, as he's just trying to set up another one, as he's just trying to stay off their vision so he can blink in, get a crush there. He's going to get the kill onto Metro Boomin, as Justin eventually went down there. But he had the Aegis, so he comes back. So, okay, we'll get a kill onto Buryu. But now Justin's there in his face. He's already used his Adaptive Strike. But again, Blink Crush from Boris. Gets him another kill. It's another double kill for Boris, as he's now at 5-0-5 this game. And you just, I mean, maybe you just gotta... We've seen a couple first round bans on Slaughter, and maybe you just gotta deny it from Boris. Because, I mean, he's just playing a damn good Slaughter right now. It certainly helps that he's had a decent start in both games. There's been some space created for him for allowing him to get his Blink Dagger relatively early. And now with the Shadow Blade, it allows him to further strengthen his position in those team fights. And he's really a force to be reckoned with right now. And it's also something that EverNova doesn't really have the tools to deal with it. Like I said, they've got a lot of team fight, but it's got to all kind of come together at the right time. And then it's still, even with the Wombo combo, you've got to protect your Enchantress. And if the Enchantress is forced to run or forced to go defensive, then your damage is just gone. You know, the Wind Ranger, she's gone with the Maelstrom. She's gone more like attack-based, I guess. So that's going to help. But still, it's too early in the game for Wind Ranger to really be dishing out a ton of right-click damage.
Dire's bottom tower is
So
under
primarily at
attack.
this point, it's all Enchantress.
Dire's bottom tower.
And I think Ritsu Stack recognized that, because they are trying to put a lot of pressure on it in the early game, or sorry, in the team fights. Now they'll move into the Dire jungle. Just try to prevent and cut off anyone from EverNova who's trying to get a little bit of farm off on the map. As Let Me Go was in the trees TPing. As Boris found him with a Blink Crush. Ritsu was close by, but Ping Spam's still coming out. They say, you know what, screw it. leave the Faceless Void alone. And now, Scan's going to come out. They know that they're all there. Are they going to engage on it? As Derp Derp's going to come in from side. Ritsu's actually put himself right into the middle of EverNova's. But EverNova's, they're not converging on it. They just want to split up and get the hell out of there. And it's probably the right call. Derp Derp is going to be their casualty. But all the other heroes get out of there safely. I don't know what the answer is here.
Mountains.
I didn't even see the Faceless Void down there, but he's going to go down to Justin on the Morphling, and I'm scared to look. We'll look at the gold graph after. Boris maybe initiates here. Yeah, he's going to go Blink Crush as they go onto the Enchantress, and the Night Stalker's coming in as well. There's the Void to slow him down. But are they going to keep going? They are going to keep going up onto the high ground. And nice Shackle Shot, as I think they were going a little bit too deep there. And they get punished for it. Oh my goodness. That's a lot of gold for one kill. Almost 2,000 gold for killing a Slardar.
Better than a poultice.
And that's why. 20,000 gold lead for the Ritsu stack. They're pretty much just waiting for a GG now to secure their trip to the finals. And XP's pretty much exactly the same, over 20k as well. There's EverNova so close. Twice, and I think this looks like it's going to be the end of the road for them. Missing a kill up there in the top lane on the Elder Titan. But yeah, I haven't seen any value in the Elder Titan yet. Like at all. It hasn't panned out for them. I understand how they've got a lot of synergy with the Winter's Curse, the Chrono and the Earth Split, but it should give them a lot of control in the fight as well. They've got their Wombo, but then they've also got Stomp to control space. They don't even have to use the Winter's Curse in the Wombo to still control space. And that should allow the Enchantress to do a lot of damage, but it just hasn't worked for them. They haven't had those stable team fights. We don't even really have a largely gank-oriented lineup on the side of the Ritsu stack, but they've been almost playing it like that. It's constant pickoffs. They're constantly getting kills, and it's just Boris basically quarterbacking the whole thing. I don't know if he's actually making the calls and calling out these ganks and these rotations. I don't know who's making the calls for them. But either way, they've been right. It could be a community of calls as well. Teams call things a little bit differently. Sometimes it's the position 5, kind of calling everything. Sometimes it's a 4. Sometimes it transitions from early game to mid game, and kind of the 3 takes over. Maybe that's the case for Boris. I don't know. And then there's been other kind of more bizarre things where even your position 1 is making calls. That's actually something that EG used to do way back when Fear was playing carry for them back a couple TIs ago. They had Fear making a lot of calls at certain points in the game. And of course PPD. Now I believe he makes all the calls.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So, what does EverNova do? The easy answer is to say, well, you smoke and you get a kill. They're going to go for that. They're going the wrong way. They don't know that, but they're going the wrong way. But you only have so many smokes. Yeah, this is their last smoke, and their one's going to be up in 1 minute and 11 seconds, though. But still, you only have so many smokes, and I think 1, 2, I don't know, kills. I don't think that brings you back in the game. You're so far behind right now. You haven't been able to find any space on the map whatsoever. There's an obvious issue with them just kind of roaming around ganking, and like I said, they don't really have a really strong gank lineup. And they're still constantly ganking you, so how do you stop that? How do you get control and get some map control back, so that you can actually fight and stop the ganks from constantly happening. I honestly don't know the answer. I think this game's almost out of reach. They're still adding on items. Aghanim's just got picked up by the Enchantress. And Faceless Void's starting to get a little bit of damage. I guess that's part of the Hannah Midas effect.
Dire's bottom tower is under
Wind
attack.
Ranger's also up to 2,200, almost 2,300 gold. That's her Midas kicking in. What about the Elder Titan? He's got a comeback Midas as well. He's at 2,400. So I mean, they're getting gold. The problem is they're not farming anywhere near as fast. And then on top of that, they're losing gold when they get picked off. I mean, Ritsu is just gigantic right now. Helm of the Dom, Scotty, Butterfly, Yasha, and the makings of Crit or MKB. Probably MKB to deal with the Windrunner, yeah. MKB just gets picked up now. Yule's Scepter gets picked up by the Elder Titan. That once again gives them more control in the team fight. And maybe that's just what they needed. They need to wait a little bit longer to get even more control to allow the Enchantress to kind of do her thing. I don't know. They're definitely getting out farmed on the map right now, and I think there's a little bit of a tentative feeling here from Ritsu Stack trying to push uphill into the lineup of EverNova, because it is scary. It definitely is scary. Things can go wrong very, very quickly against their team. And once again, you're kind of funneling through the ramp to get up onto the high ground, which is a great choke, which once again strengthens EverNova's team fight and their skills that they use for that. But also it allows them to even protect their Enchantress more. And here we go. We got a Chronosphere. It's going to land on 2. They're going to try to focus down Ritsu, getting down to about half. Earthsplitter's going to come in. That's going to finish off the Night Stalker. As Ritsu getting very low, 100 HP. And oh, so close. He was out of mana. It was just like 120, 130 HP as the Hurricane Pike would get used there. But it's not even going to get them a kill onto Boris. The only kill is going to be that Night Stalker. And they threw everything into Ritsu. And they were close. They were so close. 120, 130 HP. I'm not sure exactly what the number bottomed out at. But he was completely and he just stood there, standing his ground, tanking. And then he just started out healing it with the Helm of the Dominator attacks as hero after hero on the side of EverNova just kind of fell. Now, Bree will pause the game. Is not really sure why, but we're waiting. Anyway, we'll bring up the items. I don't know. I feel like this is the end of the run for EverNova's, and we're gonna have Ritsu Stack go into the finals to go up against Pain. Should be another good series. But look at the items. Oh my goodness. We got a Lincoln's up on the Witch Doctor. And notice, no Aghanim Scepter. No Aghanim Scepter on the Witch Doctor. Doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. Says, you know what? Lincoln's is going to be much better for us. It helps our kind of dive style initiations that we've been using. It's also a more defensive item. That's going to allow the Witch Doctor to kind of sit back later on, or further back in the team fight. He can place his Death Ward. That can do a lot of work. But then he's also going to be able to use his Lincolns on an ally if they need to. But that's going to be after his Death Ward comes out for the most part. The Lincolns is going to be protecting him to make sure he doesn't get interrupted, and they have to use things like maybe Earth Splitter, which is going to, I mean, you can use it, but ideally you want to use it and have the Witch Doctor on the other end of it, because you're mainly using it on their focus targets in the center that are going to be inside that Chronosphere, inside the Winter's Curse area. I like it. I like it. It's a smart pickup. AC as well on the Slardar. Pathblade on the Morph. Even the Aegis that they just picked up. Another Ultimate Orb as well. This man, they just have so many items. And you take a look at EverNova's and it's like, alright. Got a Yasha on the Faceless Void and 1700 gold. I mean, I guess something's coming there. Derp Derp's at 1200 gold, but really nothing to his name. The Enchantress picked up Ragnum Scepter, what, like 5 minutes ago, and not much progress since then. 3,500 gold on the Wind Ranger, so something should be coming out. It's gonna be Sold Bottle. Point Booster's gonna get picked up, so it's gonna be an Aghanim Scepter, which is about 300 gold, 200 gold now, away from completing. Yule Scepter and our 1,200 gold, and I think I've gone over everyone. So really not much in terms of items. I don't know. It's 23 to 9. I'm scared. I'm gonna press it. I'm sorry. We've got children in the room, but oh god. Yikes. Over 30k gold lead. I think this one's over. I think this one's pretty over. I mean, EverNova, they've done some good things in this qualifier. I don't see you coming back from this. Lincoln's gets picked up by the Medusa. Now we got an Aghanim Scepter on the Wind Ranger, but that's not enough. Maybe that's bringing more damage on some other heroes that aren't the Enchantress. So maybe that's gonna help. Justin split pushing down in the bottom lane. So are they going to try to split push their way in? That's one way to kind of take advantage of EverNova's team fighting. The fact that they want you to all go through a natural choke. Problem is you could get picked off as Justin's going to get picked off. Boris jumps in and misses a crush there. A little bit off on his blink. But now Justin just backs away. Didn't even really get that low. Although he's going to bring himself way down to basically no HP with his morphing. But they use a lot for that. They didn't use Chrono. They're going to use it here to get a kill onto the Night Stalker, or are they? Oh my gosh, 30 HP. They're so close to getting kills here. Now they're going to lose their Faceless Void. Metro's going to get engaged on by Boris, who will just kind of do a little hit and run. Crush and run, I guess. As Justin comes in from the bottom lane. Shotgun. As he still has the Aegis as well, and I think we're going to see 2 letters typed in chat, and it might be the same letters. It probably will be the same letters. It's going to come out shortly as the top racks have gone down, and now Dusa going to pop her Stone Gaze, and that makes EverNova all want to run away, and Winter's Curse on the Night Stalker means Morphling gets a free kill. Unfortunately, it's on his teammate. As now Let Me Go is going to try to man up onto Justin here, and well, the Stomp's going to allow him to disengage and he'll leap away. But the top racks are already down. Now they're going to come and start working on the mid racks. The Shackle is going to be thrown on Burry. It's not going to latch to anything. But he's going to go down. And Justin just keeps on going forward. He's playing with very little HP. But he does have an Aegis still protecting him as well. And he's going to try to man up here on the Let Me Go and Metro Boom. And he already won the fight the first time against Let Me Go. Did that just miss? I think it did. That would have gone through and dropped the Aegis. So EverNova, they hold on. They lose a lot, but they hold on. It's not over yet. Top racks, dead. Mid, tier 3, dead. Bottom, tier 3, dead. And the range racks. And there we go. Yeah, they're going to call it. Good game, well played. We'll get called by EverNova, and we are going to see the Ritsu stack advance to the grand finals, where I believe Pain's waiting for them. Where we're going to have another best of 3. And I'll try to manage my voice in the meantime between the games. I'm sorry guys, I know the castings kind of fell off a little bit here as my voice is kind of dying on me, but I'll try to pull it back for our grand finals. But once again guys, I was Niz. Thanks so much for stopping by and listening to the cast, and hopefully you're enjoying it so far, as that was a little bit one-sided. Hopefully our finals will be a little bit closer. But Ritsu stack looking pretty damn strong right now, knocking off EverNova here in 2 games in this best of 3. So they'll go into the grand finals, If you're listening on Dota TV, we're over on twitch.tv/NizCast. So if you want to stop by and say hi in the chat, that's where you can find us. I'm also, I've got a Twitter account at NizCast where you can let me know any kind of feedback. You can do that on Twitch as well. But I'll try to improve it for the games going forward. But I'm going to throw it to some music and hop into the next lobby because we've got another best of 3 coming up in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere.